Welcome to another episode of Not for the Weak-Minded. This video is about where you stand morally in regards to teaching 3-year-olds in primary school about sex education and about the LGBT community. Now, this has caused a massive, as it says there, uproar across our country. It has divided our country, and people now see the enemy and their intentions. A lot of you, though, do not. And that has to do with your subconscious mind and how it can be manipulated from the womb. And so the television has played a absolutely massive role in creating this scenario where, as I'm being reinforced with science, you know, genetics, that we can be born gay, and it's in our genetics. Now, yes, people are born gay, but it is because of your subconscious that doesn't turn off, and what it picks up when it's in the womb, that essentially can make you become, through power of suggestion, what you hear. And so when you're not at home and your parents are at work and they go, oh, I knew from a very young age he was camp. Well, how much camp stuff was you watching on television? Think about it, because it doesn't switch off. You literally have no control over your subconscious and what it can literally take in. It takes everything in, and this is how they've manipulated us through the television with lies and truth about reality itself. So now, because of literally that deception upon your mind, a lot of people are walking around thinking that this is okay. This is not okay. This is unacceptable. It's intolerable. You know, I'm sorry, but teaching 3-year-old children about these things is wrong, morally wrong. And as I've just said, children's minds are very impressionable, including their subconscious mind. And so what happens? Do you think they're going to get all these suggestions into their mind at 3 years old? Well, they're going to be gay, right? But this has nothing to do with sexuality itself. This has to do with it does, and it does, but it has to do with the rules of creation and why it's important to understand the gender roles of certain tribes, etc., that still keep to the rules of creation. You know, they still believe in it today. And so this is why we've fallen from grace, is because we've not actually seen these agendas going right now in front of us that should make you question the government and who their allegiance with, because none of this should be taught in the classroom until 2020. This is a UN agenda under the Equality Act 2020, and so none of this should be taught already. And yet already you see in this article that they will continue to teach 3-year-olds about this. So how many of you are going to stand? Because this is what it is required for the people to actually see and to change things, because you've got to know what's going on and the devices of how they've done it. And so they've inverted the creation, and they're using the knowledge of creation against you, against all life, against humanity. And so I'm just going to get into the article, but this has to do with ancient history and Babylon, and why the gods decided to wash away life because it was sinful. It was literally completely sodomistic and paedophilic, which is essentially what the core of our society is, and how they're using these science and all these television, all the deception on your mind to make this a reality. You know, and unfortunately this is what's going on right in front of you. And it's not just the Christian community, it's the Muslim community, it's everyone that has a moral backbone that goes, hang on a minute, I don't want my kid to go to school and be taught about LGBT. This has to do, like I said, with the inversion of the seed of Adam, us. And so, in essence, right, what they're also trying to do is essentially cause a scenario where you yourself, particularly males that are very feminine, actually get more masculinity and actually stand up for it, you know? But they're not gonna, because unfortunately a lot of you believe that, you know, you can just be born gay and that's just the way it is. No, you're created to be that way, because unfortunately your parents didn't know this reality and how the powerful subconscious suggestions are on your baby's in the womb. So Alison Sanders published this article Tuesday, March the 5th, 2019, very recently. Muslim parent, there is no point in LGBT motion at schools. Should we have a listen to what she has to say? Why not? Oh, of course.
This is our concern, no outsiders. You know, we said all parents are on board with it, but the reality is no parents are on board with it.
How old's your child?
10.
And they're coming home, and what they're saying to you?
They're confused about homosexuality. They're coming. We have nothing against Mr. Moffat. We're as British as they come. You know, we respect the British values and everything. But the problem is, he's not respecting our ethos as a community, as you know, as one. They say we work with the parents, we listen to the parents, but this is not what they're doing.
Do you think it's right to promote LGBT in the classroom?
I just don't see the point. Why we don't send our children to school to learn about LGBT? We send them to school to learn about maths, science, and English.
So, Parkfield Community School in Birmingham has attracted outrage over its No Outsiders program. See, now this is completely something else in honesty, and perhaps I should have read the article first, because I've been reading a lot of this stuff, and I'll just go with what I'm saying anyway, that, you know, there's a massive agenda here to basically make paedophilia acceptable, and now they're trying to say that you can be born paedophile, and that there's a difference between someone who likes looking at indecent images or minor attracted persons, a map, and someone who is actually, you know, a paedophile. And again, they're trying to use genetics to say that you can be born this way, and this has to do with everything to do with the Catholic Church and their agendas through the secret societies, through Freemasonry, which is the education system, the people that control our government, you know, Zionism, the elite, the royals. They're the ones responsible for all these agendas. And unfortunately, a lot of you are going to go with it. You're not even going to see it as a problem, even though that is going to lead to an androgynous society, as written in prophecy. By the Bible, by ourselves, by the gods. We are the gods. You just don't know how to use your abilities, man. Because they've put you in a fear of the normal. And everyone's scared of the truth. To do anything. So, children at school, who are aged between 3 and 11, are understood to have been reading books about same-sex relationships and marriages such as Mummy, Mama and Me, and King and King. Hundreds of angry parents withdrew their children from the school in protest. And I bet they got fined for it. My suggestion is, if you're having a baby soon, stay at home with them. Teach them the ways of the world. Turn the television off. And just be there for your child, you know. The school has now halted the LGBT lessons temporarily for the rest of the term, but they insisted they will return after Easter. The No Outsiders program, designed as part of the curriculum, aims to promote equality and is done by the UN. So, who is the enemy? Agenda 21 by the United Nations, 2030. They've already implemented their sustainability and development plan into the universities. That's not meant to be in flight till next year. So who does our government really work for? Is it the United Nations and Brussels? Do they have any interest in our country and what happens in this country to the people? No, they don't. All they care about is promoting these sick agendas on the population and continually getting away with these heinous acts against humanity. The school, where 98% of the 750 children are from an Islamic background, said RE lessons are now in place instead of temporarily until after the Easter break, something it says was already decided last year. The row at Parkfield comes that some schools in the UK have been criticised for installing unisex toilets. Okay, so here we go, parents. You're born with a penis. You're a boy. You're born with a vagina. You're a girl. It's quite that simple. In fact, right, you can love the opposite sex doesn't mean you should sleep with them. Just because you love them. You know? Oh, I love my friend, I'm going to sleep with you then. No. You know? It works both ways, unfortunately. You know, it goes against the creation. It goes against what you were actually designed to do and in your purpose in this reality. Right now. You know, it's something that everyone must snap out of because they got to understand that it's been programmed into their mind by unconcerned parents that don't know this reality about how frequencies and the television really works, because it was designed by evil to literally keep you in a state of sleep while they continually get away with weaponizing the weather and killing us. You know, and you gotta wonder, well, why is it so calm in our country while everyone else is getting battered? And you go, oh, is it because we're part of the beast nation? Is it because we're the ones responsible? Yeah. And now you got this in the classrooms, and still people are not doing anything, you know? There were claims that they were putting schools, girls at risk, and that some were even avoiding going to school. Well, yeah, because boys and girls should be separated, particularly at a young age, because they're shy. They don't need to be seeing each other's body parts at that age. You know, see what they're trying to do? They're trying to encourage sex at a younger age as well. You know, they've already destroyed the notion of marriage and what that really means as a right, you know. You go through thick and thin, doesn't matter what you go through, it's all a challenge together. People go, nah, it's too hard together, I can't be bothered. Well, never one. Yeah, and rightly so, some people aren't meant to be together, but, you know, it is the way it is. Some parents have accused Parkfield Community School of promoting homosexuality. So there you go. It is about the Catholic Church because 4 out of 5 of them are gay. And is it a surprise to know that gay men like younger men or young boys in the Catholic Church sense? And that this is nothing new. Literally, I can go article after article after article after article after article. Catholic Church being paedophilic. You know, that they are not Christian at all. You know, Jesus does not have a church. Demonstrators from the predominantly Muslim area have demanded education, not indoctrination. But the education system is indoctrination because it is still controlled and is still based on false principles created by the banking elite in the 1800s. So it is indoctrination. Literally, you go to school, parents have to go to work, and your kid is indoctrinated. Like everyone else has been. The only time you could know that everything you've been born to know is a lie is now. In this time, you know. Unfortunately, the generations before it, you know, they had no choice. But we do, you know. We all have a choice to make. Parent Fatima Taha had previously said children are being told it's okay to be gay, yet 98% of children at the school are Muslim. It's a Muslim community. Abdul Ma, 46, added, "We bring our children here so they can later work as a solicitor or a teacher, not to be taught about being gay or lesbian." And rightly so. I mean, at that young age, they don't need to know about any of it. It's, you know, when I was 11, I didn't know much. You know, a lot of people knew more than me, and I didn't care. Because, you know, you grow up, and you learn from these things, as everyone else does from experiences. You don't need that to be shoved down your throat at a young age to know that you don't even need to know about that experience yet. You know, none of it. Yeah, you need to be aware. So yeah, sex education from about 14 onwards, definitely. Wear a condom, use fucking the pill, whatever, contraception talks, everything's fine. Yeah, LGBT, no, because that has everything to do with literally the elite's agendas to keep brainwashing the public into accepting their paedophilic ways, and that's got to stop. And it isn't going to stop, is it? Because none of you really know this. So there's nothing but indoctrination of our children. And I agree with the Muslim community. Unfortunately, the Muslim community themselves don't really realise that the Catholic Church are the ones that created their religion. Just like they used the words of the ancient past to create the Bible. You know, with truth and lies all the way through. You know, they've manipulated nation to fight nation. And now we're in this shit together. And people are just going, nah. And then one day, it's going to change. You can make it change for the better if you wake up. However, I don't think that's going to happen, is it? So we need to make a plan, as I keep saying. Local Labour MP Liam Bryan previously said there has been a breakdown of trust between parents and teachers at Parkfield, which is completely unacceptable. Yeah, all of this is unacceptable. At one hand, because teachers are leaving as well. You know, you've got employees in all different works and different companies that go, I'm morally standing down. I no longer want to do the work that you want me to do because I know what it's for. Because you are evil. You know, we all work for evil. Because we're literally born into this corrupt world of evil. Who controls it at the core of our society? With signs and symbols, the television, truth and lies, from knowledge based on the creation. So, on the one hand, we have very angry parents. On the other, we have teachers that have felt very intimidated. And we had graffiti attack on the school this morning. Both absolutely unacceptable. Well, graffiti attack is nothing compared to changing them and brainwashing your 3-year-old into accepting paedophilia. I'd say that one is more unacceptable. Paint can be washed off. Hazel Pulley, Chief Executive of the Excelsior Multi-Academy Trust, said, "What we've got to remember is this is one school that has made a decision to use no outsider programs, and all that brings with it, through the right procedures of going to the governors and consultation with the parents we had about 4 years ago. And none of that made a difference, did it? No, because they're going to still continue to teach it. Since then, we've had various workshops to enable parents to see the lessons, and parents have been able to come into those through invitation, through letter." She added, "I think all people involved need to look at this, what the real message we need to give our children, to our children. I am looking forward to doing that what our parents. I am very hopeful." I'm doing that with my parents. Parents delivered a 350 signature petition on Tuesday, and another protest outside the school has been organised for Thursday. So how many protests are going across our country, people? Do you think that's just, you know, because they feel like it, you know? They just feel like going out for the day, collectively? No, it's because they're trying to promote truth and a message that, for one, geoengineering is bloody global warming, and that they manipulate the weather. Because they know the creation and they've used it against you. And now they want to brainwash your 3-year-old kid into accepting paedophilia. You may not see it that way, but it really is going that way. Just, you know, allow it to continue. This is just one school, like she said, and I can show you article after article after article about across the country. So please be aware of their agendas and their intentions to create a androgynous, one world Babylon whore of a culture, and how this relates to the ancient past, and how this is going to be cleansed with fire, and ultimately humanity is going to be transhumanized. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.